Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are diving into a hot topic after a viral video in the Philippines. It raised a big question. Should a transgender woman be allowed in female-only lanes and bathrooms? I know. I know it's a sensitive issue, but I believe open, respectful conversations matter. So let's go and stay with me as we break it down. Let's start with the clip everyone is talking about.
At an MRT station, a transgender woman argues with a security guard after being stopped from entering the women-only area. She insists on her right to safety and dignity, while the guard struggles between rules and respect. The moment highlights the ongoing fight for equal spaces and acceptance.
Ganyan ba kayo mag-approach sa akin? Ha? Ano?
Pagpapalag mo ano pang kinder nyo.
Oo nga.
Tawag ko yung edad ka.
Nasaan ako, oh? Hindi. Mali po yung ginagawa nyo eh.
O, nag-iingay
Customer
ka.
ako dito.
Hindi mo ano.
Ayos talaga dito, oh. Ginugulo mo ako.
Redeem.
Oh, sige.
Redeem. Red one.
Ano ba ginawa ko sa inyo?
Pinapalipat lang kita sir kasi lalaki ka sir. Female area po yan, bawal yan.
Female
Kaya
area.
nga.
Okay, sige.
Redeem one.
So, in this video, a security guard calmly explains that this particular lane is for biological females only and not for transgender women. It quickly sparked debates online, with opinions split between inclusion and privacy rights. But here's my take. I actually think that the guard did the right thing. Plus, filming him to shame him online is, to me, like sticking your head in the sand. You know? It's ignoring the real issue instead of facing it with dialogue. Think about the setting for a moment. Security guards are trained to follow station rules and protect everyone's safety. They do not make the policies, they enforce them. And probably he clearly recognized that the person was transgender and politely said the women only lane was meant for biological females. And that is literally his job. And here's something that keeps running through my mind. As you can see, the space was not even the problem. Like, there was room in other lanes, right? But I have also to wonder, like, if the woman's lane had been completely full, would that person still insist on standing there? Like, come on, bro. That does not add up. In my opinion, for me, this shows it was not just about convenience. It was about making a statement, and that's where the tension begins. Ito ang hindi ko maintindihan. Why is there such a strong desire to enter spaces made specifically for women and that get angry when someone gently enforces those rules? There is a saying that a shoe that does not fit will hurt. It's like trying to force a fit in a place where comfort and privacy are important for biological women. And let's be real. The Philippines cannot even consistently enforce lanes that's meant for PWDs, pregnant women, and senior citizens. And if we're already struggling with those basic priority rules, piling on another gray area category will only create more confusion and conflict. Like, come on, bro. Just, think about it. And again, I say all of this with respect. I have transgender friends and I honor their journeys. But I also hope they recognize that you cannot just tell someone that you are a woman and expect instant acceptance, especially in private areas like bathrooms or gender specific lines. Respect has to go both ways. Should be mutual understanding and not a pressure. And this is not only a Philippine issue. In the United States, there have been isolated but widely publicized incidents that is covered by mainstream outlets like NBC and the Associated Press, where someone exploited open access bathroom policies to commit harassment or assault. Experts stress these cases are very extremely rare, but they often shape public debate about restroom privacy and security. People hear those stories and start thinking, what if it happens here? And that fear, even when based on rare events, influences how communities and governments set their rules. This case reminds us how one small moment in a public space can spark a bigger national and even global conversation. And instead of shaming a security guard who followed his instructions, maybe the better question is, are our public guidelines clear and fair enough to begin with? Because when the rules are blurry, conflict like this is almost guaranteed. So, after seeing how one small train station moment can set off a nationwide debate, I think it's worth pausing and asking why. Why does this issue feel so personal to many of us? For me, it is not only about a single security guard or a single lane, it touches something deeper. It is about what womanhood really means in everyday life and why those experiences shape how we see privacy and respect. I want to share where I'm coming from. And again, first of all, I respect my transgender friends and they respect me. We've built a mutual understanding of boundaries and what we think is right. That mutual respect is key. It's what allows genuine friendship and dialogue. However, I also believe that being a woman is far more than appearance or style. Womanhood is shaped by experiences that start inside the body and affect us every single day. Hormones that change with each stage of life. Monthly periods that can bring discomfort, fatigue, and health challenges like PCOS. And the possibility of pregnancy and childbirth, which permanently change a woman's body and, of course, our emotions. I want to let you know that these realities create a shared understanding among biological women. It's an unspoken language of small, everyday struggles and strengths. Even with hormone therapy or surgeries, transitioning cannot fully replicate those biological experiences. And that's not said to exclude or insult anyone. It's simply recognizing facts of human biology. And in Filipino culture, these experiences carry a deep meaning. From family traditions to healthcare and even simple things like bathrooms, or we call it CRs, we design spaces around women's biological needs, privacy, cleanliness, and safety. And when we talk about women only lanes or bathroom, It is not about a fashion or a privilege. It is about a practical care for the physical realities of being a female. And again, this is not about rejecting anyone. It is about acknowledging the difference between gender identity and biological sex and protecting spaces that we created for those physical realities. For me, respecting those differences is not a discrimination. It's honesty paired with compassion. And please, you have to remember that respect should always flow both ways. Everyone deserves dignity and the freedom to live honesty. But in any society, freedom also comes with responsibility. The responsibility to understand how our choices affect others. And it's one thing to live your truth and share it with people who welcome you. It's another to demand acceptance on someone else's private ground, especially when those spaces were designed around women's biological needs. Let's watch this clip.
It's strange just being in a room with you because I suppose the brain is so used to just separating, okay, this is a woman and this is a man. I mean, is that what you're famous for, really, that you pass so well as a woman?
I guess I don't know exactly how to internalize that because I'm just me and it is what it is. But yeah, people say that.
How do you explain that feeling of wanting to be or wanting to be perceived as a woman?
I think that's an important differentiation, first of all, is be perceived as. You know, this is one of the things I'm at odds with the community on. I don't believe that you can actually become a woman or become a man. I think that your biological sex is a solid state of reality that you're born with. I just think that you can make certain choices to live your life a certain way and, you know, be perceived a certain way. I think that when you start getting into the ideological side of being trans, that's where you start having to tell lies like I am a woman. And I don't believe that for a second. I believe I'm a trans woman, which is a social and cultural label. And then I believe beyond that, I'm obviously a biological man. And I don't think there's anything wrong with being a man. So I don't, you know, take offense to knowing that within myself.
Yep, I've seen this in daily life. Sometimes a request for inclusion slowly becomes an expectation. And if someone hesitates, they are labeled intolerant. And that creates tension where there could be dialogue. You know, even well known transgender voices have highlighted this. Just take Blair White, for example. She's fully transitioned, yet she openly says she does not consider herself biologically female. And that honesty shows it's possible to embrace an identity without insisting that everyone's erased biological realities. The core question is simple but deep. How do we balance personal identity with shared boundaries? Because boundaries like women-only lanes or restrooms aren't just about labels. They are about privacy, safety, and everyday comfort. So while I'll always support anyone's right to self-expression, I also believe no one should be pressured to redefine womanhood or ignore biology just to prove their respect. Because true acceptance is not forced. It's built on mutual understanding. Another side of this conversation involves daily work and social roles. And some people have pointed out an interesting pattern. They notice that many individuals who transition from female to male still choose jobs and routines that feel safer or more familiar, rather than very heavy labor field like oil rigs, plumbing, or large-scale construction. Of course, there are trans men who work in those fields, just as many biological women do. But the observation raises a bigger question. How much of our career path is shaped by personal preference? How much by society's gender expectations? And how much by practical concerns like safety schedule or work culture? Bathroom tell a similar story. Some trans men have shared that they avoid men's restrooms because they're uncomfortable with the conditions, often saying they feel they're filthy or unsafe. And that choice is understandable. But it also shows how gender identity and daily reality sometimes pull in different directions. These examples don't mean that every trans man fits a single pattern. They simply show how complex real life is when identity meets work, safety, and comfort. And they remind us that respecting someone's identity does not erase the practical questions we all face about privacy and the physical spaces we share. This conversation is not about hate, it's about understanding and respect. Whether we are talking about train station lanes, restrooms, or workplace roles, the core questions stay the same. How do we honor personal identity while protecting privacy and safety for everyone? I've shared my perspective as a biological woman, and I know others will see it differently, and that's okay. What matters is that we talk about it openly and respectfully. So, what do you guys think? How should we draw the line between personal freedom and shared boundaries? Drop your thoughts in the comments and I would love to hear them. If this discussion got you thinking, please like this video, share it, and subscribe so we can keep building a space for real conversations. Again, I'm Dee. Thanks for watching, and until next time, protect your peace and stay respectful. Bye!